You are just in time for Richard Mwenja exclusive. Today we are coming to you straight from the amazing home of former Minister Kipchumba Arap Kirwa here in Karen. It is a distinct privilege anytime we are hosted here. And also today we are looking all colorful, courtesy of the amazing work of one fashion designer from Ghana who resides here in Kenya. And as a shop at not just Mama Shanti Complex and at Quickmart Gitanga Road, but also behind Astral Petrol Station on Lenana Road. He's called Kwame from St. Osei Clothing Line. Do reach out to him via the number 0723456589. You'll get that African wear that you want to don for every occasion. He does both male and female wear. And today Waziri is also looking more younger. Courtesy of Kwame. Let me bring him on your screen. Waziri, how are you doing?
Very well. I thank God for it.
Asante sana Waziri. Great to see you today.
Asante.
You're looking energetic.
Yeah.
And even sounding more good today.
Oh, wonderful.
What is the secret? You've been taking lots of honey?
A lot of honey. Yeah, and a lot of nyamachoma. Yeah.
All right, and peace of mind, of course.
Okay.
That of the way straight to our day's conversation. We have a lot to discuss in the world of politics and governance. But how about we start with this particular front? What became of the State of the Nation address? And out of it came the cancellation of the Adani deals by President William Ruto. He pronounced himself loudly on his fight against graft. And I want to understand, Waziri, you said the president come forth and saying, citing the indictment of one of the Adani brothers in USA, he cannot trade someone who is beyond reproach. You get it, huh? So I want to understand, is the president trying to play the hero card because Adani was being treated with so much content from the start? Him cancelling it at this moment, is it too little, too late?
Well, what it worries me most is the fact that Adani has been a bad name in this country for the last almost 6 months. From inception in March, when they pretended to have done some kind of study to look at the suitability of upgrading international airport, that's Chege, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. And of course, they used information that had been sourced internally from the organization itself. Pretended to be bringing money, and yet we know he was going to use the title deed for the international airport to source for money from elsewhere. But more confounding is the fact that Adani in Sydney, Australia, had had a number of problems. In Bangladesh, it had had a number of problems. In India itself, it had had a number of problems. This therefore means this is a company that should not even have been considered by the Kenya government in whatever form whatsoever.
Waziri, let me hold you at that. Let's play your argument vis-a-vis the argument of Raila Odinga a while back. Him terming Adani Group as one that is free of any stain, having done marvelous job in Gujarat, in Mumbai. Look, a few weeks later or even months after his endorsement, Adani is indicted in some sort in USA. Does this leave an egg on the face of Raila Odinga for endorsing the Adani Group?
Well, I cannot speak on his behalf, but what is clear is the fact that the way Raila talked and the information available to us now are two poles apart. Raila talked about Adani when he was a prime minister of Kenya. And the Adani of today are two different individuals. Remember, the lady in Bangladesh, Hazina, was evicted out of office because the cost of electricity went beyond the roof, courtesy of the projects undertaken by Adani, which were inbuilt with a lot of corruption, a lot of impropriety, and a lot of mismanagement of resources of that particular country. Therefore, for Raila to come almost 20 years later, having been a prime minister, and give an endorsement without checking the facts, to say the least, is foolhardy. It marks a situation where people don't take time to understand the facts on the ground before they pronounce themselves on it. And they make themselves suspects of some certain things that are not proper in terms of governance, in terms of proper utilization of resources and policy pronouncement.
There's a section of our audience that might be wondering, for Raila Odinga, is he trying to sanitize even that which clearly looks like a stained element just because he's desperate for the campaign support that would come from the government of the day when it comes to his AUC bid? Could that be the bait that is holding him dear to play to the government's tune?
Well, Raila has been many things to many people. And I've said before in another forum, also in this forum, that Raila has not demonstrated that he's a Democrat of any shade. He has been a calculating individual who, when it is convenient, he becomes a hero. He wants to be the hero of the second liberation. He wants to be the hero of Kibaki Tosha. But for the last 30 years, Raila has not stayed out of government for complete 5 years, except the year 2013, 2017. Otherwise, from cooperation to merger between LDP and KANU, nusu mkate, serikali nusu mkate, the issue of handshake, now the issue of broad-based government that people called bread-based government. So Raila cannot claim this space that is a Democrat who believes that when he loses elections, he goes to the opposition, stays there for 5 years, then comes back to seek the mandate of the people.
Waziri, but I want to understand, why is this kind of clarity coming so late for you? Because as recent as April this year, I was with you on this show, and you are the biggest supporter of Raila and his ideologies, even that regarding the liberation of this country and fighting for democratic threshold. Why are you having a U-turn, a sudden U-turn?
No, it's not U-turn. I'm moving in the same direction. It's only that I'm describing the man for what he is. And we used to give him benefit of doubt. But he has proven beyond any doubt that he's not a Democrat of any shade. He associates with a cabal of opportunists who are ready to plunder the resources of this country. When it is convenient, he will jump bail. Even when he fails to capture the position in AU Commission chair, he might come back and pretend to be a presidential candidate for the opposition.
There has to be something for him in every arrangement he seeks out?
There is actually the two sides of the same coin. William is on one side, Raila is on the other side. Unless there is something in it for each of the individuals, they are not part of the deal.
More of Siamese twins?
I don't know. They could be brothers from different mothers, same father.
Really?
Yep.
So you're talking about a situation whereby in the event that he loses the African Union Commission chairperson bid, that will come around with even more demand that would play to his tune. But do you see President Ruto ceding to that ground? And to what degree can he extend the same to Raila Odinga when it comes to his demands?
Well, he has no alternative. For him even to survive the intervening period before the next election, he needs 80 members of parliament in the National Assembly from ODM. So he's going to cede. In fact, he may cede for more positions, even the 2 positions of ministers. He may cede one of it to Raila. And of course, we've heard conclusively that, of course, the position of the Speaker of National Assembly is at risk of being taken away by somebody from ODM. So Raila is pushing for every pound of slice, he would go for it. And when he comes back, he will have 2 opportunities, either to join us in the opposition or to join the government of the day, then allow William Ruto to lose honorably the 2027 general election.
Before we close that chapter on the economic front, because we've been talking about the Adani Group and their PPPs with the government of the day, at some point the ODM party loaned expatriates, alleged expatriates, to the government of the day. But months later on, people consider that there's little to write home about. And if you look at the tone of CSOP Wandai and also CS Mbadi when it comes to policy pronouncements out here, there is much to be desired from their policy pronouncement, also the real impact on the ground from their dockets. Why are they dragging their feet to bring that sort of expertise we also desire, and one that we can feel tangibly as taxpayers?
Well, I don't consider them to be experts of any shade. Perhaps Mbadi may be a tax expert or maybe a financial expert, but the rest of them are people in the streets like us. Only that people know how to color names of the individuals they prefer, calling them expert lent by ODM. Kenya Kwanza has enough experts that if William Ruto was listening to any shade of opinion other than his own opinion, he would have enough people to assist him to run the country. This therefore means those who are job seekers, don't call them experts. Those are job seekers from ODM who came to government to occupy certain positions, and now they arrived. Imagine somebody abandoning a constituency to go to become a CS, and yet he was elected by those people. I just want to remind him of Odero Joey, who became an expert who went to UN, having been elected by the people from the same area of Nyanza. When he wanted to seek mandate after he lost the position in the UN, people rejected him, and he never became an MP again. So Pio and I may be visiting himself that kind of curse, that people elect you, but you choose midstream to go and take a position that you are not elected to go for. Yep.
You've always opined that a good leader is one who thinks with thoroughness and forethought about their legacy that they leave behind. For one leader in this country, Francis Atwoli, Court Secretary General, he believes that for President Ruto to leave behind a formidable legacy, there's need for us to grant him the grace of time in terms of extending his presidential term limit, or at least revising it, so that we don't limit him to only 2 terms in office of 5 years each. What do you make of this suggestion from Francis Atwoli? How does it weigh before your lenses?
It's unfortunate, Richard, that you have to allow me not to say anything about Atwoli.
Why though?
I've never created Atwoli with any deep imagination or a deep thought when it comes to national affairs of this country.
Not even an iota of wisdom?
Wisdom or lack of it, they don't belong to Atwoli.
Then how did he rise to that rank of SG for this trade union? That's a very...
Well, it could be somebody very versatile who has survived by just being streetwise. There are many people who survive not because of grace of God or because of their intellect, but they are streetwise and they sail with the stream. It's the same guy who was telling us the men from Sugoi must cut all the trees lest William Ruto commits suicide after losing the 2022 general election. And he was the one who did a lot of somersault within a shortest time. Now he's doing what we call praise and worship of President William Ruto. So let's not credit him with this pace. Let us bring serious thinkers who should be able to think about the welfare of this country. For him, if he's happy, that's good for him. And let God grant him more years to stay with his grandchildren, so and also to navigate this landscape. You'll be praising the next leader when William Ruto loses elections in 2027.
That's just how slippery it gets.
Yes.
For the convenience of the day. That
you've been told every monkey finds a tree slippery when this day of reckoning comes. So and as they say about Adani, a thief thinks he's more intelligent, but the investigator is ahead of the thief. That's why he's got in an act that he committed at night without anybody seeing. That is what Adani did.
So you're calling him out for singing praise and worship to the government of the day.
Yeah.
And I want to understand, to what do you attribute this kind of state bidding? What is at stake for him? Should he not play to the tune of the executive?
You know, there are people who are born sycophants, and you don't change them. And there are those of us who are born rebels. You cannot change us. So if somebody is born a sycophant, he's going to maintain that root of sycophancy. And whenever that sycophancy is not taking the note as it ought to be, that's why he shouts.
Even those from Alliance like Imani Ichung'wah?
Imani Ichung'wah is an unfortunate child who went to Alliance, but he was on second selection.
Did you have to bring unfortunate on board?
Yeah, he was on second selection.
Unlike you?
Well, we were taken first selection. Even my father did not want me to go to Mangu High School because he thought it was too far.
Let's talk about people who believe they're going to herald the new fortunes for this country in the near future. And the future that I'm talking about is that of 2027 and going beyond. One such leader is Okiya Omtata, Busia Senator, who has already endorsed himself for the presidential bid in 2027 and is on the way, he's actually coming up with a campaign machinery to make sure that he ascends to that seat. But the gentlemen who believe that it is not good enough to just have a name. You need the resources in Kenya, you need a tribal background behind your back just so to go to the house on the hill. Is that true?
Well, in the first place, he has not endorsed himself. He has offered himself for the 2027 general election, and he has gone through the due process of trying to assess his chances of either winning or not winning. You know, for me, every candidate who thinks that he can be the president is welcome to this space. But he should allow the due process to take shape, and he should also allow other Kenyans to make a choice on whether they qualify or not. But one of the qualifications should not be how much you have amassed. It should be how much do you mean to the people of Kenya? What kind of vision do you have about our country? What kind of leverage that you want to use for purposes of attaining the goals you have already identified? And how are you willing to involve other people in having a shared vision. Because you can have the best vision, but if it's not shared by a team of people, that vision is dead on arrival. Yeah.
Very well. And I want you to go deeper on that particular front by literally bringing to fore the reality of the day. Can someone ascend to that seat without playing the kind of tribal card? Because now you're seeing a situation whereby Omtata, on the face of it, looks like a credible candidate. But they also believe that not all communities can support him. So there's need for him either to go have the Western Bloc behind him or consolidate other regions.
Well, the landscape in Kenya is changing very fast. You realize that June 25th, the GNCs that mobilized themselves to the street, never identified by any tribe, never identified by any single leader, never identified by any group of individuals who have been on this political landscape. It only, I just wish him well, and I wish he's able to be slightly more imaginative to galvanize the thinking of the young people of this country, because that is where the voting bloc is. Those of us who are above 60, we are only 5% of the population of Kenya. Majority of Kenyans are below 50. They are between 50 and about 18, because that is the voting segment that is likely to determine the next election. And I wish him well. Possibly he may not win in this first round, but that is the right thing, and that's the right direction for him to move. He should not tell us even what his tribe is. In Tanzania, they have had five presidents. Now they have the sixth. And all the the five, come from small communities, except for Magufuli, who comes from the Sukuma region, which is the largest block of the first five in Tanzania. Here in Kenya, we've been relying on communities, but that issue is now being made subordinate to issues of vision, issues of governance, issues of integrity, and issues of focus.
Right.
That is the Kenya of the future.
Yeah. Rightly put there, Waziri. And talking matters to do with the regional politics, a few days ago we saw the official, what they termed inclusion of the Kamba community into the Gema bloc. And I want to understand, should we be talking about Gema integration or Gema inclusion? Because if you go down memory lane, look at the role people like Paul Ngei played in making Kenyatta a successful president and also fighting for this country. Way back in 2007, the Kalonzo factor in Mwai Kibaki winning the presidency and ruling government thereafter. Should we be talking about integration or inclusion of the Kamba into the Gema bloc as of now?
You know, this issue of the so-called tribes, whether it's the Luya, whether it's the Kalenjin, whether it's the Gema, it is just an amalgam that has been made convenient for political reasons. The Luya are not as homogeneous as it sounds. If a Bukusu in Trans Nzoia is talking, a Maragoli in Vihiga will find it very hard to communicate. When a Kipsigis is talking and a Pokot is listening, they will have a lot of straining in terms of getting the message. So a Kalenjin is an amalgam that was started in the early 60s. Luya was started almost at the same time. Otherwise, these are communities which are similar, but with certain areas of diversity. Those who have done anthropology will understand the Agikuyu or the Gema, including the Akamba nation, are people who have similar origin, and they have a lot of traditions and certain cultural values that they share, even including linguistically. And therefore, somebody saying you are integrating the Kamba into the Gema is a misnomer. We are engineering the issues of alignment of communities which have similar character and similar heritage and similar origin. This therefore means, for those who think loosely, you can talk of integrating their Kamba, and therefore you're almost making them look they are inferior to the rest of the bloc. What they are doing, they are engineering themselves for purposes of coming together and taking a position, the way they took one position against the colonial government and they won. They took similar position when Kibaki's regime was at its lowest. Now they are taking another position because they are under serious attack from the rest of us.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
And let's talk a bit about the alignments and realignments in today's political landscape. And there are two youthful leaders, that is Babu Owino, Member of Parliament for Embakasi East, and Kiharu, Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro, who many speculate that they could have a tag team in the making, one that probably is going to even go for the presidential bid in 2027 or earliest that's 2032. And I want to understand, do you think they are ripe enough for them to try punch that weight that seems too heavy for in a layman's eye?
No, they are of age, and the two leaders, in my opinion, are different within the same environment. I do not want to describe much Babu Owino because I don't know him enough. I think I know a bit of Ndindi Nyoro. He's a leader who has very good credentials, but he needs to do the timing well. Because at times when you mistime an opportunity to enter the ring, then you'll be given a description other than what the material you are made of. He's made of the right materials, but he should do his bidding, check whether it is 2027 or 2032 when he needs to throw the hat in the ring. Otherwise, he can play a role. He can become a very critical ingredient in forming the alternative to the current regime. And the future is for him to prepare himself to rise to the occasion.
I'm then curious to understand, by his association with the current regime, do you think that's a minus or plus for him with regards to that bright future that he holds of ascending to high heights in elective leadership?
So far, he has navigated the landscape very well. Remember, impeachment of Rigathi, he never got involved in it. True. And the subsequent pronouncement he has made, he's been very careful in making us understand his vision, his focus, and his future. For me, I still give him a lot of space because he has youth going for himself. He has also the issue of credibility so far, and also he has the demeanor. And he has a bit of tenacious capacity to withstand strained conditions. That's why he has navigated the landscape, and nobody can take an onslaught on him without carefully considering the consequences. And I think if there is something the current president has learned, he thought Rigathi Gachagua was a pushover. He has realized that almost the mountain is gravitating toward his political thinking. So he cannot do another onslaught on a formidable character like Ndindi Nyoro. Yeah.
So if you look at probably the candidate of Kalonzo Musyoka, and perhaps maybe at that time he has the backing of Rigathi Gachagua, whom you say today is shoulder and
head and shoulder
above any other politician from Mount Kenya.
Yes.
Do you think that's going to give President Ruto a run for his money? Is that a mountain that might be too high for him to flatten?
Well, that will run him out of town, whether he has money or no money.
Back to Sugoi?
By 8 o'clock, he'll be on his way to Eldoret.
Miti itakatwa?
Itakatwa, but you learn how to accept a loss when it is inevitable.
He could be a one-term president in the making?
Well, he may come back like Trump. Yeah, but this one, 2027, it is too slippery for him. Unless he has a magic from elsewhere, not the population that we know will be voting in the next election.
So hypothetically speaking, if a general election was held today, on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the highest, 0 the lowest, what are the chances that President Ruto is going to get a second term in office?
3.7.
That is below expectation.
3.7, that means he's going to lose. He will get 38%, that's 7% of the population.
Even with Raila by his side now?
Even if Raila was also to surrender and give him Ruto Tosha. You know, Raila has been demystified by the act that he has already donated some individuals to the government, and he pretends now he's a candidate, and he thinks he can come back and denounce Ruto. He has been demystified. It's like salt without taste.
His political obituary is already...
No, I don't write obituaries too early. But we have already prepared. It's only the last sentence. So he came and went.
Come on, Waziri, you need to be a bit more polite on these leaders.
Yeah.
Because at some point you are really subscribing to their school of thought. I wonder what changed in between.
No,
So
there's
is it because you missed out on state appointment as CS? Because your name was part of that provisional list that was circulating around.
I don't know who put the list there. In fact, my main problem was from some of the friends who are telling me, take it, take it, take it. Until I asked some of them, who has told you that that name was put by Ruto? Number two, it is impossible to work under him or to work with him because he believes he knows everything. He advises you on how you need to advise him on what he has already chosen. So that's not an assignment that I can take.
So today you won't take an offer from him for state appointment?
Even if he's re-elected the president, I will not take it from him.
You don't want to be part of nation building?
I can build it from where I am.
God
has been kind.
Without a flag on your car? You're okay with that?
I have the flag in the house that Kibaki gave me. When I retired, I was given. I have it, even with the mast. The stick, yeah. So I don't need another one. Yeah.
You're content with
And I have EGH. The only other position I can aspire is CGH.
The only thing missing is a doctorate degree like his.
But I've already finished my coursework.
So you'll be
and I'm doing my research carefully because I don't want to do wishy-washy research. I've finished and my credentials are very clean.
Well, we can't spill over that conversation lest we get sued.
Yeah.
Let's now cross over to Heroes Corner.
About what? About the guy not having done the thing himself? I don't know. People say that. Yeah, there's a guy who did it for him. That's what they say.
Can you afford the legal fees once he sues you?
No, I will go to Orengo.
For pro bono services?
Pro bono and Ndegwanjiro.
All right,
and Willis Otieno.
It remains to be seen. I'll be here to witness you going down to Shimolatoa prison, and perhaps I'll visit you one of those days. But first things first, let me bring you to speed with Heroes Corner with Mheshimiwa Kipruto Arap Kiro. This is a segment whereby we offer our debt of gratitude to personalities whom we believe have made tremendous impact, not just in Kenya, but globally. And today we want to understand who is our hero or heroine. Waziri, you've been here for many decades, and you say, Wendi Kijijini, you're not retiring soon. So who is our hero today before we also celebrate you while you're in the village?
So you want me to be a hero of the future?
Yeah.
My heroine today is Grace Emily Ogot.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Grace Ogot?
Yeah, born 1930, somewhere in Siaya.
Assemble, perhaps?
Yeah, Assemble in Siaya. And got married in Game, the cradle of Luo intellectualism. Yeah, Luos, if they don't come from Game, they don't believe they're intellectuals. Even those from South Nyanza, like Omamuga, used to give credit to Game Siaya, the cradle of Luo intellectualism.
People from there come with true credentials.
Credentials, not fake ones. And she got married to Professor Bethel Ogot. She served as a member of parliament, community mobilizer. And I had the privilege of getting to a house in Game when we had gone to visit a project called the Sidindi Malanga Water Project. In that particular project that was done by IFAD, and it's still surviving despite a lot of struggles because there is very little follow-up on those projects.
You went to her house?
I went
dined there?
We dined with the Committee of Parliament.
A Gen Z might be wondering, are you an ancestor? How old are you, Waziri? You were there?
I was in my 30s, early 30s. I became a member of Parliament at the age of 30. And I served for 20 years. And I've been away for 17 years. So you can get my age. So,
all right, back to Grace Ogot.
Yeah.
What kind of a leader was she? Do you believe she was a woman of many fasts?
She did a lot. She was an author. She was a nurse by training. And she was also a community mobilizer. And a very careful person. Anytime she talked to you, she was slow, but very careful about things that affect members of parliament. Because she had been to parliament before me, I used to seek a lot of wisdom from her and a lot of experience. And something that she told me that I still remember, he told me, Kirwa, when you are in politics, give money that you can afford to lose. Don't lend money to your constituents unless you are willing to let go of that money. I came to realize when it was too late that I've been giving more money than I can afford to lose.
You're overshooting the runway.
Yeah, I'm overshooting the runway, or I'm punching above my weight. Yeah.
And now you're regretting gnashing your teeth.
Yeah, I'm not gnashing my teeth. I'm happy with the little that I have. Because my late mother told me, accept the little that you have. It will make you a credible member of society instead of looking for what you don't have.
You earn from your labor. That is your school of thought.
That's what she told me, and I still believe she was right. I was wrong. Yeah.
For grace of God, when you look at the modern day leaders, talk of Gladys Bosholei, Gathoni Wamushomba, what is that one trait do you think will be so dear to them and their future that they should learn from grace of God?
Learn to be patient, respect everybody, those who are low in society, give them their space, because even the people that you think are ignorant, they have their story to tell. Learn also to listen to them, because even in the long story of an individual in society who believes that they don't know anything, they have come for wisdom from you, learn from them, because in that long story, there is a lot of wisdom that will assist you navigate the landscape beyond the present situation.
So I want to understand very lastly, for how long was she in town, Grace of God?
She was in town for long. She was born 1930. Unfortunately, we lost her in 2015. We lost her in 2015, almost at the age of 85.
Thereabout.
At the age of 85. She was a member of parliament, as I said. She was assistant minister. She is an author. She is accomplished community mobilizer. And she is somebody who took care of her husband very well. The husband is still alive, Professor Bethwell Ogot.
The towering Professor Bethwell Ogot?
Yes, that's the husband.
All right, there you have it. A family of think tanks, right?
Oh yeah, we thank God, and they complemented each other. Yeah.
All right, there you have it. At this point, allow me to take the conversation to a wrap. But I won't leave without bringing in on your lenses. We have a very special guest today on the show. Waziri, I never knew this show has grown beyond leaps and bounds. And today, just the Gen Z, the customers of this town. We also have people from Peponi School who are our fans. Who is this amazing lady?
She's called Cherono Chege.
Cherono, this is your camera. What's your name, Cherono Chege? Which school do you attend? Peponi House. What do you want to be in later life, professionally? A veterinary?
Yes. A vet, yeah.
Oh, a vet. Oh, that is so perfect. Do you love the show, Cherono?
A cat like that.
All right, come say bye to our fans who really want to hear your voice.
Yeah.
Will you be on the show next time? All right, where's your mom and dad? Oh, they're there. What are their names? All right, and you do love them, right? So make sure next time they rope you in on this particular interview, right? All right. Thank you so much for coming. Cherono Chege. Waziri, thank you so much for hosting us.
It's my pleasure.
And thank you for inviting the upcoming Gen Zs.
Yeah. This is the future of Kenya.
The future of Kenya.
Yeah.
They'll champion for democracy.
Oh, yes. These are people who don't know tribes. Yeah, you can hear Cherono Chege. That's a nice combination. Yeah.
Na hata kuwa mamafua kama babafua.
Hapana. Na hata kuwa nini kasongo.
Well, there you have it. Umetenga chai kidogo?
Yeah.
Mandazi labda ya crew.
Mandazi ama kaimati. Yeah.
All right. Do stay tuned to our subsequent edition coming to you next week Wednesday with Waziri. Also stay tuned because you'll see us donned in even a more colorful outfit courtesy of the amazing work of Kwame, a Ghanaian fashion designer here in Kenya, based at Astral petrol station just behind it, that is along Lenana Road. He also has a shop at Mama Shanti Complex and at Quickmart, that is along Gitanga Road. If you want to don any African wear, why don't you contact him via the numbers displayed at the bottom part of your screen, or even better still, you can just reach him directly via the number 0723456589. By dressing an outfit from Kwame, you definitely do more than just showing up. He has all your wares. Should you be a lady, a man, and you want to show up for that occasion, contact him today and you'll definitely get value for your money. For now, we go take our soup as you continue viewing this brilliant channel and show.